Thank you, Mr. Mishra, for your time. This interview is for the anniversary issue of Indian infrastructure, which is our biggest issue of the year. My first question, sir, is that how has COVID-19 impacted the various programs like Amrut, like Smart Cities, and other such programs that you are spearheading?
Well, there are positives, there are negatives, both.
Right.
So there are a lot of learning from the COVID because, this is a pandemic which has engulfed the whole world. It has impacted the economic activities through the lockdown. Even after unlockdown, it is not fully, it is back to the normal. So definitely this has impacted various programs. But when I say positives, positive, a lot of learning has been there. There is such an extensive use of this platform through which I'm interacting with you. This has not been there in the government so far. The kind of use of, now the e-file, electronic files, people sitting at home. Maybe if you had asked me 6 months back, this was unimaginable that maybe 50, 60, 70% of the government staff is working from home. That was unimaginable. That's happening now. The kind of changes we have been able to take care of, the way we work, and we have started seeing, for example, affordable rental housing complexes, a scheme for addressing the issue of housing, which is for the first time in the country after, now we are in the 74th year of the Indian independence, and this scheme has been conceived for the first time. We saw such a large scale migration from the big cities to the rural areas, to the smaller towns, and we had to forced to think that we need to provide for the rental housing, not only the ownership housing, but the rental housing. And now the new scheme has come, and I'm sure this scheme is going to be, is going to add such a big benefit to the urban poor, urban migrant, or such population which are so much important to the urban economics, urban economy. So such a scheme has been conceived, launched, but now it is going ahead. So this is a new opportunity. We could see the street vendors. You see the street vendors, who are so much important. Wherever you come from, Bombay, Delhi, Chennai, anywhere, you see in your city, the street vendors provide so much of value to the city's life, whether provision of the vegetables, fruits, flowers, ice cream, various street foods, which are live because of such people. They cook and they serve such kind of food. So we could see a big opportunity. We started finding about them, and we saw that, well, they are taking working loan almost at the 100%, 200%, even 500 to 600%. So the government came out with a new scheme. This is a scheme again for the first time. We had the law from 2014 onwards, but such a kind of take was not there till PM Swanidhi scheme came. So there have been a lot of positives. The lot of learning from the COVID-19. Well, about the progress, yes. Initially when the lockdown were there, a lot of things stopped. But once the unlockdown, even in the lockdown, the way we have utilized our self-help group members, we have nearly some 50 lakhs members in the different urban areas, the cities, towns, and the municipalities. So they have been engaged. They have been, cooking food and providing food to the people. They have been used for provisioning, and they have produced something like 6 crore masks, more than 6 crore masks. They produce more than 1.5 lakhs tons of sanitizers. They have got some 1.25 lakhs PPE kits. So, we could see the capacity of these people. The states have engaged as such people who have been trained and who there is an entrepreneurship in them. So, they have been utilized very well. So, is again opportunity how to use such people in the time of such kind of special circumstances. So, but if you take a scheme like Swachh Bharat Mission, the city's cleanliness, you know that We launched our protocol for the Swachh Sarvekhan 2021 during this period. We have recently launched our Swachh Sarvekhan 2020 results, and the way the cities have got motivated, a lot of things. I mean, we got to the cities, learn, because there have been continuous engagement with them. What is that they can do? Use the opportunity when the people are not there on the streets. What those things can be cleaned, and if you go around the country, you will find a lot of cleaning has been done. A lot of spaces have been improved. Our Amrut Atal mission for rejuvenation urban transformation, nearly 3 lakhs new water tap connection has been given. Some 1.2 lakhs sewer connections have been given. So slowly, it has not been the same speed, but people have been engaged. We have under the smart city, under our, I mean, even urban transport, like they were closed. See, the metro schemes are closed. Yesterday, we announced, that the unlockdown 4 from 7th September, the metros are going to operate it. But they utilize this time. I mean, the work on the Kanpur metro has started, work on the Bangalore metro, different places. We are about to start operations of certain portion of the Kochi metro. So work has been going on, but not with the same speed. And I'm sure it will pick up in time to come.
Okay. Mr. Mishra, one of the things that we have seen is that many of your programs actually have been at the forefront of responding to needs and requirements which have come because of COVID. Whether it is public health and sanitation, and even smart city applications, etc. So my question to you is the whether it comes to specifically about, let's say, smart cities. Let me ask you about smart cities first, sir. How have smart city implementations been used or been pushed for COVID response?
Well, you know that in the smart cities, we have got 100 smart cities. And these 100 smart cities are like the laboratories. I mean, sometimes people ask me that when are you going to announce the next 100 smart cities or next 200 smart cities? Why only 100 smart cities? And my response is very simple. Well, when you get a new thing done, it is done in a laboratory. So in one laboratory, if something has been produced, that can be replicated at many places. So these smart cities are like lighthouses. They've been created to produce standards and the way we do our things so that we get more from the less. Whatever resources we have got, with those resources we are able to give more satisfaction to people, bring better ease in life to citizens, bring better quality of life to citizens. What is that we can do that? That's the kind of thing our smart cities have to play that role. See, during this period, out of 100 smart cities, 48 of them have got a smart command and control center. These smart command and control centers were used as war rooms during the COVID-19. They have been used very extensively because it's like your human brain and the nervous system. It's like the brain is there where all the processing is going on, all the decisions have to taken place, and the nerve system is where you are collecting all the information through different kinds of sensors, different kinds of cameras, I mean, all that info is happening across the city. So whether for the use of logistics management, whether it is for the hospital and hospital management, whether it was for sanitation purposes. So all these purposes, this was used very extensively. This was also used for planning your activities. I mean, reaching out to the people, because this has got a two-way communication system. This was also used for predictive modeling. I mean, Bangalore came with the Indian Institute of Sciences, Bangalore, and the IT industry there, and our own smart city people. They came up and they worked on this. How we can predict that what is going to be the course of action in future based on the data which is available. So data has been extensively analyzed, and that model has been shared with other cities. Then our smart city, they also have a flexibility. Smart city is not like a program like any other the government schemes. There is a lot of flexibility there, so people can experiment, they can plan, and they can execute those things. So this COVID-19 has given enough opportunity for our smart city CEOs to come out with new things, and these things have I mean, they have been replicated in other places. You are maybe aware, even tracking the those who have been impacted by the COVID-19. New trackers, the new various new things have come up, and which are all in the public domain. So I think a smart city has played a very important role, and not only here. I mean, let me also go back, take you to say Kumbh Mela, the latest Kumbh in Prayagraj. I mean, is the largest congregation on this mother planet, and there almost like 40 million, 4 crore people gather on one day. How could I mean the movement could be tracked? Well, the Smart Command and Control Center, which was inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister there, that has, and I've gone and seen how they have been able to see it's incident free. I mean, they utilize it at the railway station, bus station, streets, ghats, everywhere using that Smart Command and Control Center. Recently, you had a flooding in Vadodara city. This was extensively used. In Vishakhapatnam, there was a cyclone. In that cyclone, this was extensively used. So this has proved, and various other public congregations. I mean, apart from you're using the Smart Command and Control Center for sanitation, for water, for your electricity, for health services, various other things, transport services. This has proved a good instrument in the hand of the state for using in the time of the disaster or such other challenging periods.
Okay. Mr. Mishra, another area where your ministry's initiatives have come up under spotlight over the last few months has been related to public health and especially water and sanitation, because that, in the context of COVID, that becomes very important. You alluded earlier, or you mentioned earlier, the water connections and the sewage connections, etc. The Amrut project overall, have you been able to push it as much as you would have liked, or has that been slowed down? And what can we expect from this program?
Okay, this Amrut program is primarily, I think, this is a program of its own kind. This was meant to provide water to every household in the 500 cities whose population is more than 100,000. I mean, that was taken for the first go. The first priority was to get one tap connection at least in every household. If not possible, then at least within 50 meters from the house, there should be water tap connection for the good potable water is available. And if the money is available, then you also increase your septage and sewage connections. You also have minimum 2% of the expenditure has to go on the green spaces, developing green spaces, so that there is a more bonhomie in the public. There is more, I mean, it's a community place, develop a public place. So the green areas were to be developed, and it has been going on well. The total scheme, I mean, the total this mission was for 100,000 crores. 100,000 crores. Out of that, 77.640 crores. That was the state annual action plan which was approved, and it is going on well. I mean, initially the target was to complete it by 2020 March, but it may be extended by 2 years, maybe by 2022, because these are all but the gestation period in conceiving, preparing the detailed project reports, getting it finally grounded, and all those things. It takes time. Things are totally under control. Almost like 100% of the projects have been, I mean, grounded now. Good number of projects have been completed. Just give you the water connection total gap which was found through extensive study for 500 cities was 1.39 crore. Out of 1.39 crore, so far we have been able to give water connection 81 lakhs. Out of that, nearly 3.5 lakhs have been given during this COVID period. So it's a good number. I mean, it will take another, I think, maximum up to 2022, 100% of it will be over. We had to give 1.46 crore of the sewer connection. Out of that, nearly 45 lakh sewer connections have already been given, because sewer connection can be given only if all that line has been laid and the STP is ready. Then only you can give the connection. So there is a phase lag. There is a phase lag. We are supposed to convert the street lights into LED lights. Nearly 87 lakhs street lights out of targeted 1.1 crore. I mean, this is already done. So there have been a lot of progress in the Amrut scheme, and it is changing. I mean, out of this 81 lakhs total water connection, more than 10 lakhs are in the slum areas or in the informal settlements. And when you think of COVID or think of, say, this is the rainy season, you are aware that during rainy season, a lot of waterborne diseases are there. If you get good quality water, good potable, I mean the tap water, then you are safe from this disease. So that directly it impacts your health. What impacts your health is also your program on our Swachh Bharat mission. I mean, Swachh Bharat mission, we have constructed nearly more than 66 lakhs toilets. We have, got almost all the cities open defecation free, and we have gone beyond that, open defecation free ODF plus and ODF plus plus. So ODF plus also nearly 1400 cities are ODF plus. ODF plus plus nearly 500 cities are there. When you say ODF plus means all the public toilets, I mean nearly 6.6 lakh public toilets have been constructed. They are in a hygienic condition, water is there, cleaning is there. That's your ODF plus. And ODF plus plus is when you are also desludging. I mean the fecal sludge which gets accumulated in the toilets. I mean this is also a problem. Like if you contain the fecal sludge at one place rather than, I mean, people are going defecating outside. So this has to be taken out and this has to be processed in a scientific manner. So there have been a major focus on, I mean, earlier STP is a huge costly solution. So we have now come out, the ministry came out in 2017 with the new guidelines on the fecal sludge and septage management. So fecal sludge septage management is like your, I mean, earlier we used to have every house. I just give an example to understand. Like earlier you used to have a telephone, every house had the telephone line.
Right.
And then we came out with a mobile system. In a mobile system, you don't need to lay a telephone line. I mean, that itself was a challenge, and getting a telephone connection. I remember when I was sub-division magistrate, that was a big challenge. I mean, you had to get a recommendation from member of parliament to get one telephone connection. Now anybody can just go and buy it, mobile phone anywhere. It's so cheap and so simple. Similarly, this fecal sludge and septage management, it has come up so well. It's almost like 5% of the cost of the STP and the sewer system, and that with that we provide the system. You the moment fecal sludges once get accumulated, you there is a safe evacuation of the fecal sludge, then safe transportation, and then processing that, and then you get I mean you can co-mix with your municipal solid waste and come out with a good manure. The water can also be used. So this is going on in a big way. Some of the states have taken up in all their small towns. In a big city in the core area, yes, you require a sewer system and you require that STP. But in outside, and in smaller cities, maybe fecal sludge septage management can be a good solution, and that's going on in a big way. So this is also one area which has directly impacted the public health. Another area which directly impacts the public health is the our garbage collection. Garbage collection. I mean, you see, I mean, 6 years back when Honorable Prime Minister mentioned about Swachh Bharat, I mean, people used to think that how this is possible. Today, at least, I mean, it's not we have reached to the 100%, but everybody has a confidence that India is moving on that path. I mean, today we have almost like 95% of the wards have got door-to-door collection. We have got some 66, 70% of the wards have got source segregation. And now our processing, which used to be simple 17 to 18%, we have got now 67% processing. That's a huge progress. I mean, now we process something like 95,000 tons per day. That's the kind of capacity we utilize. And our Swachh Sarvekhan and the various programs that has added to that. We have also, I mean, I must thank the public. There has been a huge change in the public behavior. I mean, it was a common sight. I'm in Delhi, and when I used to go home, I used to find that people will just open the door of their car and throw out something here and there. Now, such kind of sight are rare. I can't say that it is totally gone, but such sights are rare. So there has been a huge change in the public behavior. People spitting here and there. Now you don't see that kind of spitting, that people are spitting here and there. So there has been a lot of change. Public awareness has been built up on Swachh Bharat. And I think apart from the water and sewer what we have provided, the green area we have provided, this whole Swachh Bharat movement has added to the improvement in the public health. And there are many studies which can prove that.
Sir, if I can move to the transportation, of course, public transportation has, has been impacted by lockdown. Is there any thought of revenue compensation for the metro rail organizations or for the urban bus service organizations?
See, see this, as far as metro transport is concerned, you must have seen in the last 6 years there is a huge progress. I mean, we started with a small length of the metros, but now today we have got 700 kilometers of the metros operational across the country in 18 cities.
Right.
And another 900 kilometers of metros or RRTS. This is under construction. They're all sanctioned, they're under construction.
Right.
And there are many in the pipeline. So this is one area. I mean, there's a now pre-COVID, we used to move nearly 85 lakhs passenger per day on our metro systems across the country. Just in Delhi and NCR, we have something like 400 kilometers of the metro operational, Delhi and the NCR region in the nearby region. So there's a huge progress. But now we have also, I mean, learning from the past, we have also moved to the new direction. That is the Metro Light. Metro Light is, I mean, Metro, you understand, is a huge cost-intensive project, which requires, I mean, when you go for overhead, that metro cost is almost like 300 to 350 crores per kilometers. And if it is underground, it costs something like 500 to 750 crores per kilometer, depending on the kind of terrain, the kind of rock which is there underground. So it's a huge cost. But we have now gone for the Metro Light, which costs around 100 crores per kilometers. And we are in a very advanced stage of getting the clearance from the Railway Ministry, because they are the technically they are competent to approve it. Is the Metro New, which may cost around say 40 to 60 crores per kilometer, and you get the same experience. I mean, what you get is I mean, you will move in time. You are certain when you will start, when you will be able to reach. Your movement is comfortable. It's a seamless movement. I mean, all this comfort of the metro will be there through the Metro Light and Metro New. Something of that kind I have seen in other parts of the world. So these are the new additions to that. We have also, I mean, laid huge emphasis now on non-motorized transport. Recently, we issued a Cycle for Change challenge. I mean, this was a Cycle for Change challenge. All the cities are participating. There's a lot of enthusiasm in that. And with that kind of thing, I mean, we have also announced a award of 1 crore to 11 cities, whosoever comes in the first 11 cities. So that is going to change. In Delhi, we have sanctioned a cycle track of 35 kilometers using our urban transport fund. You may be aware of that. So once this is there, we are in the process of making a master plan for almost 200 kilometers of cycle track in Delhi. If that is done, if Delhi, Bombay, Chennai, big cities get converted, they get the cycle track. And the COVID, I mean, one of the positives I didn't mention there. I mean, people have adopted to cycling. I mean, now you see in the city, a lot of people are using the cycles. So this is a positive side. This will improve their health. This is going to, I mean, because this is all that rotary activity, the motor activity, that's going to improve their health. This is environment friendly, and this will be. I mean, this is an important mode of transport. It is not only a sport, or it is not only for the poor people, but every segment of people can utilize cycle. We have also laid emphasis on the pedestrian pathways. I mean, very soon we are going to announce a challenge on that also. This different standards have been prepared, and they have been circulated with the states. Some of the states have come forward, but now we have found that through the challenge process, this participation becomes much more engaged, much more intensive. So we are going to do that. We have issued guidelines to the states for both non-motorized transport as well as for making their marketplaces more citizen friendly. I mean, less crowded, less motors, and more people there. So a lot of things are happening on the transport front also. BRTS, you may be aware, something like 250 kilometers of BRTS is operational in the country, and some of such more projects are coming up. That may be in pipeline. Yeah.
Okay. Sir, what about revenue that these they've or losses they've suffered before that? Will they be compensated in any way?
Well, there is no thinking on that. I mean, as per our MOU with the state governments for 50-50 equity partnership projects, any losses or any I mean thing which is beyond the project, I mean, this has to be taken care of by the state government. And actually, this urban development or urban transport is a state subject. The government of India chip in money through
Right.
the policy guidelines, through the programs, or through the financial assistance, so as to promote and fill in that requirement of the public transport.
Okay. Sir, we're coming, just if you can take a few more minutes of your time. Post-COVID, what are going to be the key priorities for your ministry or your department?
Well, post-COVID, as I told you, I mean, this affordable rental housing complex is already, we have shared the guidelines with the state governments. We have shared an agreement, and a lot of agreements from the state government have come. We are going to issue the expression of interest through the state and directly through the government of India also, so that the private partners, I mean, one part is this private parties use their vacant land, utilize that for the purposes of developing such complexes where the migrant labor or the urban poor, they can be given rental housing either on the dormitory basis or in the individual housing basis, 1 bedroom, double bedroom. So all utilize all the government resources which have been invested and lying not being used at present. They could be utilized. So this is one area. The second area is,
And would this be a PPP basis, sir?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the government complexes which have been constructed and not being used, they are going to, through the public-private partnership, we use the concessionaire model, and this is to be run for 25 years. They allowed, and this is all economically viable. This has been worked out. This has been discussed with all parties viable. Similarly, if a private party or a public party has got some land, vacant land, and this is allowed to be used for the affordable rental housing. So that is also very economical model. And if you see our guidelines on the website, you can see that we have also given the economics. You will find out how this is useful. Just 5 to 6 to 7 years, this gives a completely payback. The payback period is not more than 6-7 years, and then they can start. They become the economic proposal. They can also give some amount to the urban local body.
Right.
This is one area. The second area is to make our urban local bodies self-dependent. I mean, this is to improve their financial conditions. Very recently, we issued a city finance portal. I mean, you can go and check there how the city's finance conditions are there. And when the Honorable Finance Minister has announced 2% of the state GDP can be, I mean, the states have been allowed to take the loan. I mean, they can raise the fund from the market. So the 2%, 1% can come automatically, but about 1%, there are certain conditionality, and out of that, 0.25% is directly tagged to the improving the financial condition of the urban local body, and that they have to improve their collection efficiency of the property tax. They have to tag it with the local circle rate. How they can do it? There have been a consultation at we have consulted with the states. Very soon we are going to come up with the model. So this will improve the financial condition of the urban local body, so they can start working on it. Urban planning is another area. I mean, this is through the urban planning, you can there is a huge resource. I mean, the cities are sitting on the resource. They are not realizing through the proper urban planning. It can be, they can capture the value out of that land which is not available, and that value can be utilized for improving and catering to the various kind of civic amenities of the public. So that is another area which we can do. And then already the programs which are there, we need to consolidate on them. We need to consolidate on them. Make sure that Swachh Bharat Mission, which is already there, the Swachh Bharat Mission leads to that 100% cleanness. Our cities become completely clean. I mean, when I say completely clean means every city becomes ODA plus plus. Right now, we have got only 489 cities which are ODA plus plus. We would like all our 4,400 cities to be ODA plus plus. We have really 13, 19 cities are ODA plus. So we'd like 100% of them become ODA plus. We would like every city to become garbage free rating at least 3 star. At least 3 star. So they start looking clean. So again, there our focus will be to how to move in a way, I mean strategically, so that every city become garbage free. So that could be another area. And then institutionalize all these things so that we don't have to make a special effort. They become part of our, I mean, our own cities used to be, you go back and see that our city used to be so neat and clean. Where we have started making the city so dirty. So can we make that as a part of our habit, make it a part of behavioral change? So this is cleanness is going to be another area. On our Amrut, there have been a lot of learning. And there have been a lot of capacity building. Earlier, to take up a project of this size, it was very difficult. Now there is a lot of capacity has been built. Now, can we, through the Honorable Prime Minister, spoke about Jal Jeevan Mission, which has already been launched for the rural area. We are also trying to, I mean, we are working on it to launch it for the urban area, where we cover every city. And water being such an important resource, how we can conserve every drop of water. How we can catch every drop of the rain, how you can utilize that, how we can make it a circular, in a circular way, so that every drop is there and it doesn't go drains out to the sea through nala to the river to the sea. Rather, it is utilized, captured there. So this Jal Jeevan Mission is going to be, using the black water, treating that and reusing it for the purpose it utilized, so that clean water, the pressure on use of the clean water, that reduces. So all that thing, it will be the part of our Jal Jeevan Mission. So how we can get the best technologies across the globe. Regarding this, housing is another challenging area. Housing is another challenging area. We have constructed, 1.12 crore was the challenge, our total assessed demand. Out of that, 1 crore and 7 lakhs houses are always sanctioned. 67 lakhs already grounded. But we are also working on technology, global housing technology challenge. And we came out with a new technology. If the COVID was not there, possibly all these safe places where the new technology houses were going to there, they would have started. And they become the Indian technology. So getting the best technology, using our own people innovatively, so that, because construction is going to be one area which will be a major driver of our economy. Our Honorable Prime Minister has given the target of taking it to 3 trillion to 5 trillion, 5 to 10 trillion dollar economy. I mean, this kind of making the country Atmanirbhar. So this housing and construction technology is one area where we need to consolidate. So these are the areas of our priorities, I think, in future.
Okay, those are all big priorities and big goals. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Mishra, and good luck as well on these assignments. And of course, we wish everyone that we meet stay safe, of course. And thank you very, very much, sir, for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Alok.
Thank you. And we hope to see you in person one of these days.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.